Hi and welcome to this short video on Kuşadası town. We stopped at Turkey for 10 days at Two Blue Ephesus, and one day we made our way into Kuşadası town on the back of so many recommendations to visit the town, see the scenery, see the castle, do the negotiating for some trainers or clothing or whatever you like there, and visit the beautiful old town. So we ventured out as a family of four, and I've got some top tips on what to avoid, what I'd do differently going backwards, how someone tried to rip me off in the end, and also how beautiful and how great the town is, how friendly and warm and welcoming it is, and basically it's well worth the visit, but there are a few little nooks and crannies that you can avoid on the way and red flags that you can definitely avoid, because I jumped at one of those and I want to share that mistake with you as we go through this video. So first things first, we got told to get dropped off at the top of town at the castle, Kuşadası Castle. It is absolutely beautiful. What we did before we set off is we asked reception how much the taxi would be down to Kuşadası town and where to get dropped off. They said get dropped off at the castle, and from our hotel it'd cost €15 or 550 lira to get down there, and show them the wristband when you're going to come back. Okay, so you get dropped off here and you can see the boats and the scenery in the castle. Really caught me offside, to be honest. I was stunned at the amount of beauty and sort of the old school vibe it had when we got dropped off at this castle. We didn't do any of the boat trips, unfortunately. Going back on it, I sort of wish I would have, or done some research into the boat things. Coming down here, we weren't hassled, we weren't mithered, no one was trying to drag us on a boat and get us involved. It wasn't particularly busy because it was the end of the season, but I was just looking around at the immense beauty that was on offer to me and my family for free to just walk around this castle and around this area. I actually thought that we might end up paying to go into the castle, but we didn't. It's just a nice, beautiful tourist attraction. And we're going to climb up there to the top of it, and then we're going to head off into town, and then I'm going to show you the mistakes that I made while I was here. I just come down here, you're going to see quite a few people. It's impossible to avoid everybody, but I'm trying to get as many people out. And my wife went to the toilet. They charged her €1 for using the toilet. Try and use the toilets at where you're going to eat before you set off, because they do try in town and at the castle to try and charge you €1 for using their facilities. Whether that's fair or not is open to your opinion. In my opinion, I don't particularly think it's right there should be public toilet. Okay, so you're coming up here into the castle and I'm making it look easy, but to be honest, it's quite a trek. You do get that old school, beautiful feeling to this castle, and it is, like I say, right in the middle of the sea. It's exceptional to look at, and there are quite a lot of tourists from all types of background climbing the castle with you, even some locals. There are a lot of steps, so people with mobility issues may struggle a little bit, obviously, getting up here. But it isn't overly bearing, and there is definitely a place to rest as we climb to the top of the castle here. We travelled in October, so there wasn't a mad amount of pressure and tons of people knocking around. But I imagine in peak season it is a little bit more challenging. There's a wobble up here. We don't really know where we're going. What we did is got the taxi for €15, 550 lira was told before we set off, from our hotel to Blue Ephesus. Got told to get dropped off at the castle. So we sort of hitchhiked with an American man and a Dutch lady with their child in their taxi. 7 of us fitted in with our 2 kids and their daughter, and we travelled down as 2 families, 600 lira between us. The taxi driver down was absolutely fine about just accepting. He was just a really nice taxi driver, very professional, just a decent guy. So we dropped in 600 lira between the 2 families, and that was fine. This couple that you see on the right are a German couple. Introduced himself in German. Ich bin Johnny, wie heißt du? And we had a little chat, and he took some absolutely stunning pictures from this angle. Where I'm stood now, just looking out on that absolutely beautiful landscape. We're heading into town now. As you can see, this is the entrance sort of to the main area. It's a second bit of a castle work that you can see there, and that's where I made my biggest mistake, right there in front of you. Which I'll go into later, but for now we're just going to have a little wander up the old town sort of area. So you come up here, and this is where the haggling starts. This is where the people start to encourage you into shops, to try and encourage you to buy random things that you have no idea that you wanted before you went. So you definitely, in fact, one thing I would say is, before you go, have a shopping list of what you want to get, because we missed a load of things that we needed but didn't end up getting because we got so overwhelmed with everybody saying, come into this shop, look at this item, look at that item. And we lost our focus. And there are some absolutely brilliant things to get your hands on, and there's some bargains to be had, but you've got to be willing to enter into negotiations, and you've got to be willing to go into a few shops to find your base price. They are encouraging you into shops, but they're not making you go into the shop. it does feel, as my wife said, it does feel friendly. It doesn't feel like anyone's forcing anything on you, or anybody's trying to make you do something. You just got to be willing to say, no mate, I don't want any of that. I don't want them socks. Because someone was trying to sell me socks, I remember off the top of my head. I wasn't interested in a pair of socks. I wanted a new pair of trainers. So that's what we were focused on, and a suitcase. But they'll literally try and sell you anything. And as long as you're respectful and nice to them, they will be respectful and nice back. And you've got to understand that all these shops are sort of interconnected. When you do get a pair of trainers, here's a top tip for you. Make sure they've got your size before you start negotiating. Because I've got size 13 feet. Most shops didn't have my size. So what I had to do is I had to find the shop that had my size, then start negotiating, which also puts me at a detriment. What I'd do, if I was to go back, is walk around a few shops, get a base price, get the price from the back streets, know what the average price is you're going to be paying, then start your haggling. Be prepared to walk out, but remember, they're going to put pressure on you. They're going to do quite a few little different things as you parade around the shops to look at what you want to get. They'll plant seeds in your head. Do you like this one, this one, this one? And they'll bring so many out and you'll feel like indebted. Certain tactics that we used when we were there which really, really did not help. Gave the kids some Maltesers, which sent the kids off the wall crazy and made them super hard to manage. So if I was to go back, what me and my wife said was, we'd use the little benches in the middle where nobody bothered you. If you sat down on a bench, nobody came over and tried to sell you something, drag you into a shop. They just let you rest nice and peacefully. And what we'd do if we went back as a family is I would go around the shops and find the best shops that got the stuff in that we needed, and my wife would stay sort of sat on the bench with the two kids. And then once I'd found what I wanted, then I would look after the kids on the benches in the middle while my wife walked around the shops, because it was just too hard haggling with kids, and sort of, especially when they were like given chocolate, the just energy levels just went crackers, and it was just really difficult to manage the haggling as well as the kids at the same time, and be prepared to walk out the shop. When I haggled for my trainers, which was end of season, the guy wasn't particularly thrilled about the fact that I was haggling him down, but I was prepared to walked out the shop. As I'm about to take a step out, he said, all right mate, we'll do the deal. Some of this stuff out there is absolutely brilliant. I wish I could go back, and this is the thing that I'd say to you is I really do wish I could go back, get myself a proper suitcase, get myself some socks, or believe it or not, get myself some training gear, t-shirt, coat. There's loads of stuff down there that I missed because I just felt overwhelmed. Basically, just have a shopping list before you go down of what you want to achieve when you go down there, because you will get lost in all the amazing deals and all the negotiations, and you'll lose your head a little bit, and you'll come back missing things, just like we have. So here's where we went for a kebab. Now, looking back on this, I absolutely loved the kebab here. It was beautiful. The guy that worked there was really nice and friendly and good with the kids. But just make sure you're paying a little bit of attention to what they're charging you, because you can get bamboozled and overwhelmed, which is what happened to me. Okay, so now we're going to head into the part of where I got ripped off and the mistake that I made. So when I was walking out of the town, I was overwhelmed, I was tired, the kids were knackered, everything was going wrong that could go wrong, and was walking down the Old Town Road to the main road where we was going to get a taxi. We should have gone back to the castle, but instead, because I looked like such a big victim, ready to, like, fully exhausted, some guy from the other side of the road, before we'd even made it down to the road, was shouting me. And because I was in such a compliant, nice-natured sort of I want to get out of here mode, I sort of went with it. Looking back on it, you don't go with a guy that's shouting from miles away for your business in the oldest taxi that there is there. And this guy really did let Turkey down, in my opinion, because what he did was, I know now it's 550 lira to get back to Tui Blue Ephesus. So I showed him my wristband and I said, this is where we're going, mate, basically, and that's the price. Fine, 60 boo. Then as we're heading up, we needed some nappies, so I saw a supermarket. We stopped at the supermarket, we went round a roundabout, one little tiny roundabout, pulled up at the supermarket. My wife was probably about 60 seconds in total in the supermarket to get these nappies. Came back out, got back in the car. We got to the other end, one of my sons had fallen asleep, so I had to go in to pick him up. So I said, my wife will pay for the taxi. I know it's like 550 lira. We stopped, so I'm expecting to pay 600, maybe 650. Do you know what I mean? At absolute max, just for that like 3-minute stop that he said. No problem, no problem, no problem. Anyway, I get out the car, walk around the side. My wife's paying. As I get to the other door, he's negotiating. I can hear my wife say, "No, I'm not paying more than that." My wife had given him 750 lira. Now it's 550. We've done a 3-minute stop, and he's put an extra 200 lira, or we put an extra 200 lira on it and paid 750. And he wanted more. He could see more money in my wife's purse and wanted more than 200 extra lira for stopping for 3 minutes to pick up some nappies. And as I opened the door, he then stopped talking. Maybe coincidence, but I was like, what's going on? And then he just stopped talking. He said it's fine. And I was a bit gutted at that, looking back on it, because it felt like he was trying to pressurise my wife into paying more than 750 with the confusion with the pound to lira ratio, maybe potentially trying to take advantage of my wife. I was massively disappointed in that. To be quote or try to apply, giving 200 extra lira for 3 minutes worth of stopping at a roundabout is more than fair in my opinion. Like it's nearly half the price of the entire journey, which is a decent length of journey, and to be paying and someone trying to squeeze you for more, it was a bit gutting to say the least. But he did sort of have that aura of looking to take advantage. It's me that let the family down. I shouldn't have gone for the guy at the bottom of the hill that is shouting over the road, come here, taxi, come here, and ignoring the people in front of him. So maybe he wasn't actually an official taxi driver, maybe he was a dodgy dude that I just fell for. But all in all I'm saying is that when you are there and you're travelling into town or returning, make sure that you ask the hotel how much it is in lira and how much is it in euros or whatever you have in your pocket before you go down, so you know the price that you're paying. And then make sure that when you're coming back, you show them the wristband and then tell them how much you're going to pay them. Because I've seen several people on Facebook posts and posts all around say that some of the taxi drivers in that area in Kusadasi try to rip people off by doing different routes, by doing lots of different things, and this was definitely one of those individuals that saw an opportunity to try and take more than he was entitled to from my wife. And I was very unhappy about that. But I don't want to end this video on that note. That is just something to be aware of. The town is beautiful, the people are so friendly, it is safe, it's a nice environment, they're great with kids. Town to look at and tour through is just, it's hassle free until you get to the haggling part. And you've got to understand that when you go in there, it's part of the fun. It's part of the environment. It's part of just being on holiday, experiencing the culture of not just going to Asda and paying what it says on the tin. You're there to get yourself a deal, and it's up to you to get the best deal and have some fun while you're doing it. The Turkish people are brilliant to talk to, absolutely brilliant, super friendly, super nice, borderline too nice at times, definitely with them Maltesers that send the kids over the edge, but it's a nice little touch, isn't it? And it's something to enjoy, and there are so many bargains. And all round, I just wish, if I could go back in time, I wish that we would have gone down earlier in our holiday to get used to the environment before coming down to spend a decent amount of money on some new clothing, suitcases, everything. Because let's face it, you're going to be paying 10 times more when you get back to the UK, if not more than that. So if you go down, I hope you've taken something out of this video. If you have, please like, subscribe, and even share your comments in the comment section with hashtag Kusadasi or Turkey or whatever you want to say, just so then I can have a little read to make sure I'm not miles away from, like, my experience isn't just a one-off type of thing. I want to hear about your experiences basically. And please pop onto the channel, check out the hotel tour, my hotel review, and also the other holidays I've been on throughout my journey with my children, which I'm really enjoying sharing. So take care, bye bye.